Introduction. The author, Melanie is a computer scientist who studies AI. She wants to explain what AI is, how it works, and what it can and cannot do. She also wants to share her own views and experiences with AI. She says that AI is not one thing, but many different things that try to make machines act smart. She also says that AI is not as smart or powerful as some people think, and that there are many challenges and risks involved in creating and using AI. Part 1. What is artificial intelligence? This part tells the history of AI and how it started. It also introduces some of the main ideas and methods of AI. Chapter 1. Thinking machines. This chapter talks about how people have always dreamed of making machines that can think and act like humans. It gives some examples of fictional stories and movies that show different kinds of thinking machines. It also explains how some scientists and philosophers tried to define what thinking and intelligence are, and how they came up with tests and experiments to measure them. Chapter 2. The beginnings of AI. This chapter describes how AI was born as a scientific field in the 1950s. It tells the story of some of the pioneers of AI, such as Alan Turing, John McCarthy, and Marvin Minsky, and how they invented new machines and programs that could do things like play chess, solve math problems, and understand language. It also explains how AI faced some difficulties and disappointments, and how it changed over time. Chapter 3. The Quest for Common Sense. This chapter discusses one of the biggest challenges of AI, how to give machines common sense. Common sense is the ability to understand and deal with everyday situations that humans take for granted. It involves knowing facts, rules, and concepts that are not always written or taught, but learned from experience. The author shows how hard it is for machines to have common sense, and how some AI projects try to solve this problem by creating huge databases of common sense knowledge, such as Psych. Chapter 4. The New Wave of AI. This chapter introduces the current and most popular approach to AI, machine learning. Machine learning is a way of making machines learn from data and examples instead of following fixed rules or instructions. The author explains how machine learning works and how it has led to many impressive achievements in AI, such as recognizing faces, understanding speech, and playing games. She also mentions some of the limitations and drawbacks of machine learning, such as needing a lot of data, being hard to explain, and being prone to errors and biases. Part 2. How does AI work? This part goes deeper into the technical details of how AI works. It focuses on one of the most important and powerful tools of AI, neural networks. Chapter 5. Neural networks. This chapter explains what neural networks are and how they are inspired by the human brain. Neural networks are collections of units called neurons that are connected by links called weights. The neurons can send and receive signals to each other, and the weights can change depending on the signals. The author shows how neural networks can learn from data and perform different tasks, such as recognizing images, generating text, and translating languages. Chapter 6. Deep learning. This chapter describes how neural networks became deeper and more complex, leading to a new wave of AI called deep learning. Deep learning is a way of using neural networks with many layers and millions of neurons and weights. The author shows how deep learning has enabled AI to achieve amazing results in tasks that were previously impossible or very hard, such as playing Go, detecting cancer, and creating art. She also discusses some of the challenges and mysteries of deep learning, such as why it works so well, how it can be improved, and what it can and cannot do. Chapter 7. Convolutional neural networks. This chapter zooms in on one of the most successful and widely used types of neural networks, convolutional neural networks. Convolutional neural networks are specialized for processing images and other types of data that have a spatial structure. The author explains how convolutional neural networks work and how they use filters, pooling, and other techniques to extract features and patterns from images. She also gives some examples of how convolutional neural networks are used in AI, such as for face recognition, self-driving cars, and medical diagnosis. Chapter 8. Recurrent and recursive neural networks. This chapter zooms out on another type of neural networks that are specialized for processing sequences and structures of data, such as words, sentences, and trees. Recurrent and recursive neural networks are neural networks that have loops and branches that allow them to remember and manipulate previous information. The author explains how recurrent and recursive neural networks work and how they are used in AI, such as for natural language processing, speech recognition, and machine translation. Part 3. What can AI do? This part explores some of the applications and domains of AI and how AI interacts with humans and the world. Chapter 9. Natural Language Processing. This chapter covers one of the most challenging and fascinating areas of AI, natural language processing. Natural language processing is the ability to understand and generate natural language, such as English, Chinese, or Hindi. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to perform tasks such as answering questions, summarizing texts, writing essays, and chatting with humans. She also discusses some of the difficulties and limitations of natural language processing, such as dealing with ambiguity, context, and humor. Chapter 10. Computer Vision. This chapter covers another important and exciting area of AI, computer vision. Computer vision is the ability to see and understand images and videos. The author shows how AI can use convolutional neural networks and other methods to perform tasks such as detecting objects, recognizing faces, tracking movements, and creating animations. She also talks about some of the applications and implications of computer vision, such as for security, entertainment, and social media. Chapter 11. Artificial Life and Robotics. This chapter covers a more experimental and futuristic area of AI, artificial life and robotics. Artificial life and robotics are the attempts to create and study artificial systems that can behave and evolve like living organisms. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to create and control robots that can move, sense, learn, and interact with their environment. She also discusses some of the challenges and risks of artificial life and robotics, such as for safety, ethics, and sustainability. Part 4. What is AI good at and not so good at? This part evaluates the strengths and weaknesses of AI and how it compares and contrasts with human intelligence. Chapter 12. AI and Games. This chapter uses games as a way of measuring and comparing the abilities of AI and humans. Games are activities that have rules, goals, and strategies and that can be fun or challenging. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to play and win different kinds of games, such as chess, Go, Jeopardy, and Dota 2. She also explains how games can reveal the limitations and gaps of AI, such as in creativity, intuition, and emotion. Chapter 13. AI and Creativity. This chapter explores the question of whether AI can be creative and what creativity means for AI and humans. Creativity is the ability to produce new and valuable ideas or products. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to generate and modify different kinds of creative outputs, such as music, art, poetry, and jokes. She also discusses how creativity can be evaluated and appreciated, and how AI and humans can collaborate and inspire each other in creative endeavors. Chapter 14. AI and the Brain. This chapter examines the relationship between AI and the brain and how they are similar and different. The brain is the organ that produces and controls the mind, which is a source of intelligence, consciousness, and personality. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to model and simulate some aspects of the brain and the mind, such as learning, memory, and emotion. She also explains how the brain and the mind are much more complex and mysterious than AI, and how they have many features and functions that AI does not have. Chapter 15. AI and the Future of Work. This chapter addresses the impact of AI on the future of work and how it will affect the economy and society. Work is the activity that people do to produce goods and services and to earn money and satisfaction. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to automate and augment different kinds of work, such as manufacturing, education, healthcare, and entertainment. She also discusses how AI will create new opportunities and challenges for workers, employers, and consumers, and how it will require new skills, policies and values. Part 5. What are the risks of AI? This part discusses some of the potential dangers and harms of AI and how they can be prevented and mitigated. Chapter 16. Trustworthy and Ethical AI. This chapter talks about the importance of making AI trustworthy and ethical, and what that means for AI and humans. Trustworthy and ethical AI is AI that is reliable, fair, transparent, accountable, and beneficial for humans and society. The author shows how AI can use neural networks and other methods to achieve and improve these qualities and how they can be tested and verified. She also talks about some of the ethical dilemmas and trade-offs that AI poses and how they can be resolved and regulated. Chapter 17. Superintelligence and the Singularity. This chapter talks about the possibility and consequences of creating AI that is smarter and more powerful than humans, and what that means for the future of humanity. Superintelligence is AI that can surpass human intelligence in all domains and tasks. The singularity is a hypothetical point in time when superintelligence emerges and causes rapid and unpredictable changes in the world. The author shows how some AI researchers and thinkers, such as Ray Kurzweil, Nick Bostrom, and Stuart Russell, have envisioned and warned about the scenarios and risks of superintelligence and the singularity. She also explains why she is skeptical and cautious about these ideas and how she thinks we should focus more on the current and near-term challenges and opportunities of AI, rather than the distant and speculative ones. Conclusion. This chapter concludes the book by summarizing the main message, challenges, and opportunities of AI, and the main recommendations that the author makes. The main message is that AI is a fascinating and powerful field that has achieved many remarkable things, but also faces many limitations and difficulties, and that AI is not one thing, but many different things that try to make machines act smart. The main challenges are to make AI more reliable, fair, transparent, accountable, and beneficial for humans and society, and to avoid the potential dangers and harms of AI, such as errors, biases, hacking, unemployment, and superintelligence. The main opportunities are to use AI to improve and enhance human lives and well-being, and to advance scientific and artistic knowledge and discovery. The main recommendations are to educate and inform the public and the policymakers about AI, to foster interdisciplinary and collaborative research and innovation in AI, to regulate and monitor the development and deployment of AI systems, and to respect and protect the human values and dignity in the age of AI. The author also gives her own opinion of the book and how she hopes it will help the readers to understand and appreciate AI better, and to think critically and creatively about AI and its impact on the world.